Hey guys, November 5th, 10:50 a.m. So here's our neighbor's house. We have one power line running from their back yard outlet and one running from their garage circuit. So this is the video as I promised. So we have two extension cords. We have one the short ends over here, goes through the cat door, and every time we open and close the door we have to adjust the cables, and then when we close the door we have to adjust them so the door closes and it hopefully doesn't damage the cords too much. So one cord goes to the longer of the orange cords goes to the fridge back there, and then this green cable comes in, and right now it's comes to a 3/4. This is a borrowed cable from our neighbor who's given us the power. Splits right there, so we got a utility cord here going to a utility light, and we have another utility light over there for at night to cook dinner. And so here, and this green cord goes downstairs, goes down to the basement, which I'll be going down in a few minutes. Powers either the freezer or everything else, which I'll show you my setup, which might, the setup I might change it today. If I go to Home Depot and get parts I can improve upon it so it's more convenient. But this extension cord right here, which would normally power the utility light over the sink in the kitchen, it comes over and it powers Mr. Surfboard digital voice modem. So the TV, Cablevision box, and the router, wireless router, Mr. Power Strip back there, that powers them all is deactivated. This guy is wired directly to the house Ethernet system, and my computer's the only device that gets the public IP address right here. So what I do is when we don't need the telephone and the internet or the internet, I unplug this and I can bring it back out to the kitchen and plug it into that light over by the window. So it's very high tech. Here's the box for the stove Mother insisted I buy on the Sunday before the storm, so that was a week ago yesterday. So I bought it for $100, thinking that probably could get, hopefully we wouldn't have to use it and I could return it. So here it is. So it's been highly useful. What we do is we open the door. When we run this, it's we got the glass storm windows in the porch. So what we'll do is what I do is I unlock the door here and I drove this stake into the ground, and we got this piece of twine with a slip knot, and we put it over the door handle here, and the springs pull the door closed, so this holds it open so it vents the porch while we're running the stove. That's a neighbor loaned us this bottle. It's got 1/3 left, and it helps us. It runs the stove, and we can cook our dinners and lunches. We can heat up soup. And first 2 days of the storm, we just treated ourselves to bacon and eggs for breakfast and toast. We made the toast by baking it on top of the burners, the old-fashioned way, holding it above the flame. But then once I got the extension cords going in the kitchen, we could plug the microwave or the toaster in when we needed it. So this is sorry for the sun here. Let's see. Basically our power line starts over there, hooks up and the wires right in the center of the picture there, those 3 vertical wires, and it runs across, and then it runs over here. This line is very old, and it's got cracks up there in the insulation from the sun and the weather for 30 plus years. And it started shorting and arcing and spitting and fire, and that's the service head to the house. The Con Ed wire is old, but everything there is only 3 years old. When we redid the it's a new meter pan and new meter. All that wiring from the connections down, that's new. Everything out to the street is old in Con Ed. We called several times over the years, please come and replace it, it's old, let's get proactive. The camera can't see it, but my eyesight, I can see little nicks and cuts in the insulation. The outer insulation fell off years ago and exposed the rubber, older technology rubber insulation, and it's just failing. So Con Ed came and cut it on the day after the storm, and so we're, due to the generosity of our neighbors and my ingenuity, we have some partial power, and it's not too bad. Other people have it far worse. So now let me close the door. This is our high-tech system here. I'll unloop this, and I'll close the door and lock it. Not that it matters much. We had a cold breakfast this morning. I didn't want to bother dealing with cooking bacon or whatever, and then you gotta cook things in various stages and then bring it into the kitchen and leave it in a pot with a cover on it, and then you gotta get everything ready. So by the time you eat something that's cold, usually the bacon is cold. But hey, well, I shouldn't complain. That's been a great buy, and we're gonna, we can't return it. We're gonna keep it. I gotta get my own tank, but we don't barbecue with propane, so if we get a tank, it's gonna sit there forever and hopefully never be used again, but it probably will. So there we are. So let me close the door because it's hot, or it's warm inside, and I don't want to let the cold out. These are the boxes for the tiles for and my friend Ralph. If you're watching this, I think you'll recognize this guy right here and that guy right there. Okay, so we go downstairs, and I'm gonna have to, it's dark down here, so let me, the cord goes down, this green cord, and it has a lot of slack right here, but what I did was, using my own extension cords, I plugged it into this power strip right here. So sits right about here. He sits right here. This power cord, let me grab Mr. I don't know if you can really see it, but here's down in the basement. This is the basement. Let me just okay. Here's the basement right here, the furnace. There's a junction box where the power from the circuit breaker panel comes in this conduit and comes out. So what I did was I broke it out, and I have a white 15 and 20 amp Romex circuits with I'm using these push-on connectors. It's grounded, neutrals and the grounds. I got the 4 hots, 4 neutrals. These 2 guys. This guy runs on the floor. I've got enough slack so he runs down on the floor. So basically the 2 well, actually the 15 amp cable, it comes from the extension cord. Now this extension cord powers either the freezer, if I unplug it and take it over to the freezer over there, or I plug this guy in. I made this pigtail with a male Edison plug, and he goes over to the furnace, so we can have heat, and then the power comes back out on the yellow cord here, the 20 amp Romex wire that I had handy, and this Romex wire is back wired into the circuit breaker panel using either wire nuts. I broke out the hots from the individual circuit breakers, and I wired the neutral into the neutral bus and the ground to the ground bus on this panel. So if I plug in the furnace and the if I plug in the furnace, I also get the circuits in the house, like the two lights in my bedroom and my mother's room, so she can lie in bed and read at night. It also powers the lights in the dining room and the hallway upstairs. And yeah, and also the computer, so I can post this, if I power up my computer and if I connect the router in the living room as I showed you, I can then upload these videos to YouTube and get my mail. So the fire department came on Tuesday to cut our line. They came down to check for smoke and fire, which of course wasn't there, but they complimented us on our electrical setup here. They said it was very neat. It's one of the best they've ever seen, really. So they complimented me on my wiring here and my various wires, my box here for the electric kiln. So yeah, so there it is. Alright, gotta go. I'm gonna go to Home Depot basically, and I'm going to buy some more Edison plugs, more male plugs, and basically I can, instead of having all 4 of these circuits on one, I can make individual pigtails and pick and choose what I want to power. And, I've got some power strips in this box over here on this milk crate on wheels. Implement more of the power strips so I can pick and choose what I want to do. And I don't have it down here on the bench, but I have a Fluke multimeter with a clamp-on amp meter, so I can't show it to you, but I have been measuring the amperage load on the extension cords and keeping it safe, keeping it within the capacity of the cord. I figure that it's a 15 amp circuit. You shouldn't pull more than 9 amps because of that long extension cord going outside, and also one circuit's 15 amps and the other's 20 from my neighbor's house. But I'm assuming they're both 15, and then I don't want to draw more than 9 amps at any time. So the freezer over here, which is currently off, this guy pulls like 8 or 9. So he runs about half the day if possible. He runs alone on that one cord, and then that means that we have no lights, no phone, no internet upstairs. So we just do it in the daytime when we don't need the lights so much. So right now my mother left for pottery, so I'm going to pull the furnace and my internet connection and all that, power up the furnace, and then I gotta go and do some chores outside. So talk to you later. Bye bye.